Hey everybody, welcome to the Junkyard Dog Report. I just wanted to make this channel to, do some analysis on every Cavs game as I watch all of them. So, might as well share my thoughts and opinions on every game. And it's called the Junkyard Dog Report. For those of you who don't know, after every win, the Cavs hand out a chain called the Junkyard Dog Chain. So I thought it would be fitting. So with that out of the way, let's get into talking about Cavs Warriors last night. I mean, the first thing that's going to come to mind is obviously the Klay Thompson moving screen on Okoro for the game-sealing three by Steph Curry. And everyone is, that's the main topic of discussion. I don't believe that's where the Cavs lost the game. It's definitely where the game ended, but it's not where the Cavs lost the game. But it happened, so we're going to talk about it. Let's start off with, a quote from Coach J.B. Bickerstaff where he said, like Isaac Okoro was clearly hit by Klay Thompson on a moving screen, which gives up a three-point play. There's no way to defend that. It's time and time again it keeps happening, and I'm yet to figure out what we can do and how we can solve it, but something's got to be done. Now, he's not wrong. It was clearly a moving screen. Klay clearly didn't set his feet. He ran straight into Okoro. It was a bad no call by the officials, and it did end the game, which it's a bummer. But at the end of the day, that's not why the Cavs lost, at least in my opinion. At the end of the game, the offense was not in sync, not like we're used to seeing, where the ball's moving, it's on a wire, people are constantly moving, people are getting open, finding the next man. Usually the Cavs offense is like poetry in motion, but at the end of the game, it got very stagnant. It didn't look like it should, and I got a quote here from Karis LeVert, what he said after the game about that. He said, "I think we can do a better job of just seeing matchups and going at matchups. I know that's a big thing, especially late in games. Just, noticing who has, the favorable matchup, and then, keep attacking what's working, and I don't think we really did that tonight." And he also said, "We took a couple tough shots down the stretch." Now, the two shots that come to mind when he says that are Darius Garland's ISO possession that he had before Steph's three, literally the play before, where he kept it himself the entire time. No one else got the ball that possession. He took a bad layup, a heavily contested layup that he missed. And the second one that comes to mind is the shot Donovan Mitchell took right after Curry hit the three, where it didn't feel like a good offensive possession. It felt like he was forcing up a shot because of the circumstances that were at hand. It just didn't feel natural, and it didn't look like Cavs basketball. I mean, the Cavs didn't look like themselves on the defensive side of the ball last night, which is surprising because that's where their identity lies. I mean, if you look at the statistics, the advanced statistics say that the Warriors contested 53 of the Cavs shots last night. The Cavs only contested 33 of the Warriors' shots last night. And for a team that's ranked third in defense in the NBA, that's just not acceptable. And when you look at it, the thing that hurts the most is our play on the outside, on the perimeter. Because when you look at our defense, the job of the three guys on the outside is to make it so if somebody's coming to the basket, it's not easy for them. They can't just go quick. They got to give Jared Allen and Evan Mobley a second or two to be able to come in and help them out in the paint. And that wasn't happening last night. Even Klay Thompson got some easy drives to the rim, which, in my opinion, is unacceptable because Klay is not what he used to be. He's never been that athletic. The fact that we couldn't stop him from getting to the rim on certain plays was not good. And then you look at other things, too. It's like the Cavs shot 27% from three tonight. That's uncharacteristic. And I don't know if it's because Garland is sick. Donovan Mitchell said DG was sick during the Sacramento game. But he has not looked like himself the last two games. He's been atrocious. I mean, you see the effort on the defensive side, but he was 5 for 19 last night. And like I said, he had that shot after or before Steph made that three that didn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know why he was putting that up. And if you look at the plus minus figures, which have been in the Cavs' favor a lot of times this season, we only had 3 guys that weren't negative. We had Donovan Mitchell, who was plus 7.7, Evan Mobley, who was plus 3.9, and Jared Allen, who was just a flat 0. No plus, no minus. He was just neutral when he was on the court, I guess. And, I mean, what Karis LeVert said was, it's basic stuff, but let me just read the quote for you. Like I said, recognition. We can't let Steph score, step up threes, fast break layups, free throws, down the stretch. We can't give him easy looks. It's got to be somebody else. So just recognition. I mean, he's absolutely right. At the end of the game, it wasn't anyone else that killed us. It was him again and again and again. We couldn't stop Steph. And, I mean, it's not easy. You're talking about the best point guard in the world. He's got a bag deeper than, deeper than Mary Poppins' bag. But you got to get 2 men on him. You got to force him to pass the ball at the end of the game. You can't let him just freestyle and do his thing, go ISO, and break down your defense and find easy shots. Because you're just not going to win that way. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And then if you look at effort, which usually is in the Cavs' favor, there's a stat that I found that is one that I don't like to see. The Warriors last night had 21 deflections. The Cavs only had 7. Now, deflections aren't the sexiest stat, You don't see them every day. You don't say, oh, Steph Curry, best player in the league because he gets all these deflections. But deflections are important because it means that you're playing with effort on defense. You're constantly active. You know where the ball is and you know where your man is. So if a pass comes your way, you're hitting that because you're trying to steal it. I mean, I got another quote for you here from Evan Mobley, who talked about not just this game, but he talked about the road trip, specifically the last 3 games, 3 losses against the Clippers, the Kings, and the Warriors. He said, I feel like we played a good game most of the game in all of the games, but down the stretch, we just slipped up and missed assignments and stuff like that. So we just got to learn from it and get better. Now, I mean, I could complain all day and nitpick about certain things, but at the end of the day, this team is young. It is a long season. We got 70 games left to get better at finishing games, but I mean, it's just, you look at the way they lost the last 3 games, and it's just not pretty. Against the Clippers, they allowed like a 21-0 run. The Kings, they didn't even start playing until after halftime. And then against the Warriors, it's just like the entire offense collapsed down the stretch. It's like everyone was thinking too much or trying to do too much. And it's tough for a young team who's facing the defending champs. It's a lot of pressure going against a guy like Steph Curry. And, I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, these guys who play, we had 8 guys that played last night. 8 total. JB only had 3 guys come off the bench. Jetty Osman, Kevin Love, Isaac Okoro, which, in my opinion, I think that was a mistake. I really do, because if you go to the starters' minutes, Ev had 39, Don had 37, DG had 36, and Jared Allen and Karis LeVert both had 33. Now, those numbers aren't crazy, but when you look at how Steph was playing, wouldn't it have been nice to have a guy like Raul Neto come in, who's been harassing opposing point guards every time he's played this season? I mean, earlier in the year when we were playing the Magic, he was giving Cole Anthony fits to the point where Cole pushed him over and got an offensive foul for it. So now, do I think he would have stopped Steph? No. Would he have gotten him angry enough to the point where he would have pushed him over like Cole? No, definitely not. Steph Curry is too composed. He's a vet. He's not going to fall for stuff like that. But still, he would have made life more difficult on Steph than DG or Don or Okoro did. And then the other guys, we got Lamar Stevens, who didn't play at all. When we went on this West Coast road trip last year at this exact point in the season, or it might have been later, because we might have played the Warriors later in the year, Lamar was like the shining light in that game in Golden State. He put up 17. I think he might have been our leading scorer that night. And I honestly haven't seen enough Lamar this year. I feel like JB should be playing him more. And then the last player on the bench who didn't play, from the active roster at least, was Robin Lopez. And Robin Lopez is a good contributor off the bench. I believe in him. But I feel like this team wants to keep him as rested as possible because it's more important to have a guy like Robin Lopez for the playoffs than it is for Game 12 of the regular season. So that I don't really mind. At the end of the day, I do still believe in this team very much. I think they have a very bright future ahead of them. I think they're going to go to the conference finals, second round. I think that's where I have them going. The last 3 games have been ugly. To be straight up, it's just been ugly. It hasn't been what we were seeing in the first 9 games. That 8-game win streak was, we need to get back to playing that way, sharing the ball, high intensity, high effort all the time. And we need DG back. We need DG to get over whatever illness he has, whatever lasting effects of the eyelid laceration, whatever it is. We need DG back because that man, along with Donovan Mitchell, are the engines to our offense. And we also need Ricky Rubio back, but we don't need to talk about that now because he's probably going to be out a little longer. But, I don't think this is any reason to hit the red panic button, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on, how this team finishes games, but also how it starts games, because they got a little cocky after that Lakers win, I feel like. They let the Lakers score 36 points in the first quarter, 60-something in the first half, and then they held them to 36 in the second half. And then 2 games later, they don't try against the Kings until the second half. Now, it's early in the season. They're a young team. I think they'll get it going. But it's definitely something to watch out for. Definitely something to watch out for. Because the thing that made this team so good last year was that they played for 48 minutes in every game. So we got to get back to that. And if we do, those top teams in the East, they got something to be scared of because this team has got some great pieces to go on a deep run. But let's just focus on getting Donovan some revenge against Rudy Gobert tomorrow, all right? That's all from the Junkyard Dog Report. Peace out.